I told you that according to the American Bar Association 2024 profile on the legal profession, that women constitute 41% of all U.S. attorneys. Yet while that number is gradually increasing, that only 2% of all U.S. attorneys are Black women. According to the American Bar Association, half of associates are women, with just over a quarter identifying as equity partners. A joint report between NAMWF and ILP notes that on their preferred vendor list, that only 14.28% of those law firms are women-owned. These statistics highlight the ongoing challenges in achieving greater representation and equity amongst women in the legal profession. I recall a lot of no's along my career journey to becoming a patent, trademark, and copyright attorney. But with new perspective, I recognize that I am my ancestors' wildest dreams. My journey to law started when I was just in 3rd grade. I watched the People's Court every day after school with my grandmother, and I fell in love with the idea of being a judge like Judge Wapner. But I didn't want to be just any judge. I researched that Supreme Court justices laid the law of the land. So at 10 years old, when anyone asked me, Andrea, what do you want to be when you grow up? I proudly professed with all of my heart that I wanted to be a Supreme Court justice. Justice and fairness for all, and I'd have a job for life. Well, I guess I was destined to be a lawyer. My friends would say Andrea could sell ice to an Eskimo. I mediate for my friends. I debate the fairness of homework. I even convinced some of our teachers to give us extra credit. But as much as I love defending, deliberating, and debating, I had a love for science. My love for science comes from the STEM in my DNA. Okay, I know what you're saying. There's no such thing as STEM being in my DNA, but hear me out. I come from a family entrenched in science, technology, engineering, and math, where the majority of my family members have STEM degrees. They're engineers. It was this exposure, the encouragement in my community that helped me to believe that I could be what I saw, an engineer. But looking back, I recall one of my biggest educational no's being in 10th grade, geometry. Overall, I was a smart student, even got straight A's, and I was good at math, but for some reason, I could not grasp the concept of geometry. I studied old notes, old quizzes, homework. Overwhelmed, I just burst into tears because I didn't want to fail. My mother was able to find me a tutor at Texas Southern University, and he agreed to tutor me in geometry. Dr. Taylor, he was patient, he was kind, and most importantly, he helped me to pass geometry. It was in that very moment that I silently said to myself that I hated geometry, I hated math, and I never wanted to see geometry or any other math for that matter ever again. So when it was time for me to go to college, I mentioned to my mother that I'd major in marketing and then be a lawyer and then be a judge. But my mother said, no, you're smart enough to study engineering, so pursue an engineering degree. Well, it was that no that offered me a fresh perspective and new outlook on STEM. So I graduated with the math and civil and environmental engineering degrees from Spelman and Georgia Tech. In that moment, I was proud, and I couldn't wait to get back to Houston to tell Dr. Taylor the good news. So with my diploma in hand, I marched over to Texas Southern University and excitedly said to him, Dr. Taylor, can you believe it? I have a math degree. Dr. Taylor looked at me confidently in my eyes and said, of course I can believe it. I've always believed in you, so yes, I can believe that you have a math degree. His words struck me deeply. In that moment, I realized that the only person who had doubted my abilities was me. My self-doubt had been my biggest obstacle, not my potential or my intellect. Dr. Taylor's belief in me had never wavered, and it made me question myself to say, why had I even doubted myself if so many others had believed in me? It was time for me to start believing in myself. Along your journey, you will hear one simple word that has a harsh but somewhat negative meaning, no. But I challenge you to look at the messenger and change your perspective. Self-doubt is the no that you tell yourself. It's when you give up. It's when you say you can't do it. Or it's when you quit without even starting. But today I'm going to talk to you about 3 ways to look at the word no, N-O, to change your perspective and to remove your self-doubt. Number 1, no, N-O, a necessary obstacle. Necessary obstacles are the stepping stones that steer you in a different direction. I like to think of them as the no's that kind of just happen for a reason. They're the stepping stones that help you to climb higher. In my opinion, I have witnessed so many women in law experience no's throughout their careers, biases. And unfortunately, these biases have changed their career trajectories. In my professional experience, I've witnessed women in law change their careers prematurely based off of the inequities they face. Lack of equal pay, not getting a promotion due to sexist views, not fitting into the firm culture, and believe it or not, even motherhood can present itself as a barrier because some don't believe that mothers are dependable or reliable workers. But I'd like to challenge all the women to remove their self-doubt when they're making their career choices and lead with confidence, because that way you won't have the need to have to justify your options and you won't have any regrets. Because remember that only you can define what your success looks like in your life. Whether it be moving from a large firm to a small firm, going in-house, going to the government, or even starting a law firm yourself, these don't make you a bad person. They're not bad options. They make you intentional about your career. And when you're intentional about your career choices and you remove your self-doubt, you'll have no regrets. Number 2, no, new outlook. Now, according to an article in Technology and Innovation, women are least likely to protect their intellectual property. But why? Is it because of all the no's that they face along the way? Or worse, is it the no's that they tell themselves because they don't even believe they have a patentable invention? Self-doubt is a dream killer. I challenge you to remove that self-doubt and lead with confidence. Next is a big one. I want you all to pay attention. No, N-O, means that it's not over. Pivotable no's cause you to level up. Remove your self-doubt, lead with confidence, and say yes a little bit more, because you never know. Saying yes may cause you to do something that you otherwise would not have done. I reflect on all the powerhouse Black women, attorneys, and inventors, but especially Black women inventors, whose inventions are still making an impact today. Dr. Bessie Blunt, the feeding tube, Dr. Patricia Bath, the procedure for removing cataracts, Valerie Thomas, 3D movies. These women inspire me. They all solved a problem with an innovative solution that's still making an impact. I, too, hope to inspire the next generation of inventors, entrepreneurs, and engineers. In 2007, I launched an intellectual property law firm. Standing on all the no's that I heard along the way, I'm proud to have built a global intellectual property law firm from the ground up. My personal mission is to educate and inspire underrepresented inventors and entrepreneurs to protect and enforce their intellectual property. Because after all, we all have something worth protecting, our dreams. I am living my wildest dreams. On my journey to success, all those no's along the way fueled me to the success that I have today. I challenge you to remove your self-doubt, lead with confidence, and live with faith over fear. The next time you hear the word no, I want you to think of it as having a new outlook or your necessary obstacle that serves as your catalyst for your now. And remember that sometimes we even need to hear no to think about our next options. Now, for everyone that has ever heard the word no, I want to challenge you to be resilient. Continue to persevere, because N-O, that one simple word, means it's not over. There is work to be done.